Hey there, Wayne Jennings here. I'm in Sarnia, Ontario. Across the river is Port Huron, Michigan, and behind me is the Blue Water Bridge. Perfect location to check out my latest action camera. This is the SJCAM SJ4K. Now, the people at SJCAM sent this to me to check out. I didn't pay for it. They just wanted my opinion on how good it is. Just to let you know up front, this is a real basic action camera. There are not a lot of frills on this camera, but the question is, does it shoot very good video? Well, let's put it to the test and find out. This camera is capable of recording video in resolutions of 4K, 2K, 1080, 720 and 480 lines of resolution, and still photos in sizes ranging from 10 up to 40 megapixels, all in a tiny camera weighing in at just 60 grams. That's only 2.11 ounces. The camera kit is supplied with all the items shown here. In addition to the camera itself, you get this waterproof housing, allowing you to submerge the camera to a depth of 30 meters, that's 98 feet. You get a single rechargeable lithium-ion battery rated at 900 milliamp hours, along with a micro USB cable for charging. There is a nice assortment of mounting brackets and 2 quick release plates, along with 4 extra adhesive pads. Now, one of these plates has a curved bottom for attaching to a helmet, while the other one is flat, but it includes a metal tripod socket to help you secure it to a tripod or selfie stick. There's a handy user manual, a lens cleaning cloth, and they even throw in a couple of stickers. All right, now let's check out some of the video that this little camera is capable of recording. The SJ4K action camera is very similar in design to a lot of other cameras out there. It has a nice matte black finish, and there's this rubberized coating all around the outside, which makes it very easy to grip this camera firmly in your hands. Now, of course, the front is dominated by the wide-angle lens. Beside that, we have the main power button. On this side of the camera, we have a USB port, which is used to charge the battery. You can also output files from that. Of note, there is no HDMI output for sending a signal to a computer or a TV set. There's a little microphone on the top there, and here's where your micro SD card slot is to plug in your memory card. Now, I just want to show you, I'm just going to pop this card out. They've actually printed in error the little logo on here that shows the way the card goes in. It shows it with the angled slot facing this way. Now, if you put it in like that, it's going to get stuck, or it just won't work because it's designed with the electronic connections facing forward towards the lens. That's basically every action camera I've used orients it that way. But if you have a close look, they want you to put it in this way. Don't try that. It won't work. That was printed in error the wrong way. So just make a note of that. On the bottom, we have our battery compartment, and there is no tripod socket. That's disappointing to see. Another disappointment is this battery compartment. You just slide this lever to open it up, but when you do, it comes right off, and that is also a disappointment. You could easily lose that. You really, there should be a little hinge on there so that this hinges, but instead it just pops right off. On the far side, we have a couple more little switches and up and down for navigating the menu, and you can also hit the top one to turn the Wi-Fi on, and there's a little speaker on the side there. And on the top is your main shutter release button. You also use that to navigate the menu, and there's an LED up here. That just comes on when you have Wi-Fi connection. Now we're just going to turn it on by pressing and holding this front power button. You just hold it for about 2 seconds, and then the screen SJCAM there pops up. Now this is not a touch screen, so you can move your fingers over there all you want. It will have no effect. You have to use the buttons to navigate it, but it's fairly simple. It's a clear 2-inch screen, very easy to see, and you've got your date and your time at the bottom. The top shows you your battery status, the resolution that you're recording in, and how much space you have on your memory card. So to cycle through, you actually push this front button. Right now it's defaulted to video. If we push the front button once, it goes to photo mode. Push it once more, it goes to playback, video playback or photo playback, and press it a 4th time and you get into the menu. And that's where these up and down buttons come in handy, because you can cycle through the menu to select what you want. Just as an example, we'll go up to resolution there. So if you wanted to change that, you would hit this top button, and then you have your options. In this case, 4K, 2K, 1080, 720, and you just slide down, select the one you want. When you want that, hit the top button, and that is set. So that's basically the way you do it. You just kind of go through, and there are 7 pages of menus, and there are lots of settings for a little camera here. Things like loop recording, you can change the video codec, you can change the field of view, turn on the image stabilizer, select wide dynamic range. There's a motion detection. If you sort of wave your hand in front of the camera, it will start recording. Turn the audio on or off, put a timestamp on. Now this is interesting. It says TV out and TV mode, but there is no HDMI port on here, and there's nothing in the manual that explains that. So I'm not really sure what that's all about. Video lapses for doing time lapses. And then when you get into photos, you can change the image size and the quality and the sharpness. You can adjust things like white balance, color, ISO, the EV for exposure. There's an underwater setting, and then you can do time lapses in the photo mode as well. There's a burst mode. You can use this as a dash cam set up in your car. When doing so, you can actually type in your license plate number, so that appears on the screen as well. And of course, things like date and time, auto power off, the sound it makes, screensaver, frequency. You can rotate the image upside down. You can put a logo on your screen if you want. Turn your Wi-Fi on or off, select the language, delete files, format the card. And it's pretty extensive. Push that front button just to get back to the main screen, and there you have it. This camera has an adjustable field of view. There are 3 settings: wide, medium, and narrow. I'll just go through the 3 so you can see the difference. Now right now what you're looking at is the wide setting. This view is what they call the middle or the medium field of view setting. And this is the narrow setting. As you can see, it's cropped the image quite a bit, so it lets you get a little closer to your subject without moving the camera. In my opinion though, this tighter, narrow field of view is a little softer. The quality isn't quite as good as the medium and the wide setting. This camera does a very nice job at capturing time-lapse sequences, allowing you to record a single frame of video every 1, 2, 5, 10, 30, or 60 seconds. Still photos appear to be very detailed and sharp and can be captured in sizes of 10, 12, 16, and 20 megapixels. There's even an interpolated setting that pushes that up to 40 megapixels. There are a few adjustments you can make on this camera to help tweak the image quality, including white balance, which can be left on automatic or set to daylight, cloudy, tungsten, or fluorescent. The ISO can be left on automatic or set to 100, 200, 400, 800, or as high as 1600 ISO. And there is an EV setting, allowing you to raise or lower the exposure by up to 2 f-stops in 1/3 stop increments. Okay, this is an audio test on this camera. I'm at arm's length. That's about 1 meter away. I find it records real low. I've got to come closer. I'm about 18 inches away now, talking in a normal voice, just so that it picks it up. When I go back to this distance, I find it gets real low. Now, when you get close to the mic's on the side of the camera. If you come up here, if you're shooting from behind and talking directly near the microphone, it's going to pick up pretty good sound. But, most people you talk to, they're at this distance. So in order to hear, you have to yell so your voice can be heard on that camera. This camera has an EIS system. That stands for Electronic Image Stabilizer. Now that's turned off right now. I'm just going to turn the camera around, show you the shot as I'm walking down this forest trail with the image stabilizer turned off. Come back to me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back, retrace my steps with the EIS turned on, and you can see if it makes any difference at all. All right, so I'm retracing my steps. This time the EIS is turned on, and I'm just walking along the same trail. We'll turn the camera around. There's that same shot walking forward down the trail. Now I'm going to come back to me, and that's with the EIS turned on. And to be quite honest, looking at it, I can't really tell that it makes any difference. So unfortunately on this camera, I don't really think the EIS does a very good job at all. This SJ camera can be operated remotely if you download the app to your phone and use Wi-Fi, and it's called SJCAM, just like the camera. And if you hit connect, now it takes a few seconds, but basically the Wi-Fi from your camera is going to connect via the Wi-Fi on your phone. And after a few seconds, you see it pops up. So there's the image on here, the same image that the camera sees. And now I can go in and operate it remotely. If I hit this little record button down here, the camera will start recording. You can see up there, it actually shows that it's recording, and also shows it right here on my phone as well. And then of course I can stop that. This is the video icon. I can press that, change it to the photo icon to take still pictures. And there is a menu here. If I hit that, I can go in, scroll through, and make all kinds of changes. It's very much similar to the changes I would make on the camera menu itself. I can change the video resolution, turn the audio on or off, change the photo megapixel settings, change things like white balance, exposure, set time lapse, things like that. So you can pretty much do anything you can do on the camera, you can do it remotely. You can also view all the images and photos that are stored on the camera's memory card. If you hit this little icon down here, basically it loads everything onto your phone, so you can scroll through, find the photos and look at them, or find the videos and view them as well. Well, to sum up, this SJCAM certainly has some good and some not so good features. Now, like I said at the beginning of this review, this is definitely a basic no-frills camera. I mean, there's no touchscreen on there, there's no tripod socket on the bottom, there's no HDMI output, it does not shoot slow motion. It's just a basic camera, but it shoots very good video and nice sharp still pictures, and that's the main thing you want a camera for. I was really pleased with the video at all resolutions, particularly the 720. I mean, normally with these lower priced action cameras, images shot at 720 are kind of soft, but this one was extremely sharp. In fact, I thought I was looking at 1080 video. That's how crisp it was. And the still pictures, lots and lots of detail. I was a little disappointed. The EIS function, it didn't really work at all, so it's not even worth turning on. And the audio, unfortunately, it records at a low level. You got to really boost it in editing to make any good use out of it. But the photos, the videos are really good. So if you're looking for a real basic camera and your main concern is the image quality, this is definitely a camera to consider.